Hi guys, Kazeem here. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome. First of all, I'd like to mention that I had some poor internet connectivity yesterday trying to record this, but at least the message came out okay. So I interviewed Zaid and Christian who is the founder and the CEO of holologs, a virtual reality and a metaverse company, to talk to them about the metaverse. Already we have some players in the space, like Facebook, and also recently Microsoft acquired Activation Blizzards. So it looks like the metaverse is something that we're going to be seeing more and more of, especially in the business world. It will be interesting to see how businesses are leveraging the metaverse as a means of communication. So let's listen to Christian and Zaid educate us about the metaverse.
So my name is Christian Klessner. I am the founder and CEO of holologs, our own company where we build mixed reality and metaverse solutions. And yeah, I made my passion a profession. That's exactly what we did. I started very early as a child with this stuff. So my parents had a travel agency, and in this business, they invested pretty early into IT. And so I basically grew up between computers, and they had an IBM AS400. I don't know if people remember that thing's kind of mainframe, and they had this amber blinking screens, and then always the cursor stating ready. That really inspired me deeply as a kid. And the tabula rasa means to creating something completely new from scratch. That's what you can do with software programming and development. And the metaverse and mixed reality is just a big step forward to my childhood dream. And yeah, and I'm also proud that I now have won for the 12 times in a row now the Microsoft MVP award. And I'm like Zaid, I'm also a Microsoft mixed reality MVP. Yeah, and pleasure with talk to you guys today about metaverse, mixed reality, pretty exciting stuff ahead.
So to myself, I'm again Zaid. I'm a Microsoft MVP for Windows development, specialized in mixed reality. I'm currently in the first year. I work together also with Christian at holologs as a catalyst to preach and share what we do and what we love about mixed reality and the metaverse. And I know Christian also through many diverse events that we have been doing, from doing stuff at Radio School to going to hackathons together, and most recently doing metaverse parties in times where nightlife is shut down.
Yes, so let's delve into the topic of the day proper now. Metaverse, right? So it seems to be the talk of the town right now. And I'm happy to have both of you on the show, right, to talk about this. So let's start with educating my audience a little bit about the world of metaverse. So when we talk metaverse, what does it really mean? Christian, do you want to help us explain this, what metaverse means?
Yes, I would love to. Let's talk about the metaverse. And the first question is maybe, what is the metaverse? The word started hyping, I don't know, a year ago. There was a lot of hype about metaverse. But what is it? So actually, the metaverse, when you also look at it on Wikipedia or something like this, it's described as the next iteration. I would rather call the next revolution of the internet. So currently, when we surf in the internet, we go to websites, they're all in 2D. And the future will be that all that things that we know from 2D experience will become 3D. So in the future, eventually, when you visit a website, you will not just go to a website and scroll over 2D over the things. You will dive into the world of a brand. You put on your glasses, and you will dive into the company's world and their brands and their product in 3D. You will have a virtual lobby where a concierge the lobby will talk to you, will guide you. They will build really presences in the virtual reality. So it's difficult to explain what it all is, because it's a foundational technology. That means it changes all aspects of our life. It changes things in the business world. It will change things, how we work together, how we socialize together in the private life, like parties. And that's really a massive movement. And there was also the question, and maybe go ahead with this, we also know mixed reality, cross reality, extended reality, augmented reality. There are a lot of terms around. Let's say these are the technologies that drive the metaverse, but the metaverse, let's say, is the name of the revolution when all of this comes together and finally makes it from the begin to the mainstream or to the world. It's a word like something like the internet. The next thing is then the metaverse. So that's a very mighty term. It stands for the movement, the adoption of all these 3D devices. Yeah, that's basically the thing. And it's not the idea of the metaverse. It's not really new. So recently, I hope everybody saw this movie. It's based on a book. I really love that book. It's Ready Player One. The movie is also nice to watch. The book was even a little bit better, but it really describes in this movie very well how the future might look like. And the things that you see in Ready Player One in this movie, this is already from the technical perspective almost possible. You see they wear these suits where you really can feel things. These suits are already real. We had them years ago in Berlin for testing. The problem is it doesn't have an adoption for feeling that things. It's because that they're quite expensive. They cost around 4,000, 5,000 euros. It's not that thing that people want to spend in it. And also that they walk on this kind of special devices to walk around. This is all there already, but it's too expensive for the mainstream. So, but the vision of of that's even older. I think everybody knows the movie Matrix. They painted the metaverse rather bad, so I hope we all together build it better than the metaverse. But actually, many things of Matrix becomes more and more true, because we see on one hand, we see artificial intelligence, you see more articles about quantum computing and what crazy things will happen when that finally will come. On the other hand, we see things like the metaverse, what is basically kind of the Matrix. And yeah, this is the ultimate goal of the metaverse, is becoming the Matrix, kind of a synonym. So, but why is that such a big thing? Or why is collaboration in mixed reality, metaverse, why is it such a game changer? This is really based on science. So in 2000, Stanford did an experiment about room scale virtual reality. Even in 2000, room scale means you can just walk around in the virtual reality. And what they did is they put a very basic object inside, let's say a cup. And then the people had no idea what they're doing there, and they just watched how they walked, the paths they took, and they went very close to the object, they put their head into the object, they went behind it, they went through the object, and then they changed the experiment. They put a human-looking avatar inside of the experiment, looking like a human. And what they discovered is people behave completely different. They keep something that we call a personal distance, comfort zone. They keep this distance. You don't feel very comfortable when somebody comes too close to you. It's not something you do on purpose. It's just an instinct. And so they could prove already in the year 2000, they could prove that virtual reality is the first communication technology that is able to trigger your instincts, that trigger your reptilian brain. And this is really a big thing for communication technology, because we can get a whole level deeper, and that makes communication, collaboration, feeling much more natural. And it also helps to avoid effects like Zoom fatigue or video fatigue. That's when people only work the whole day with Teams, Zooms meetings, and video calls. Virtual reality, mixed reality, all this technology will help for this. And that's called, from the science perspective, it's called the feeling of social presence. You really, for your brain, it's kind of real. It stimulates the same things like when you would be together with another person. So when you would classify it, it's not as good as a real meeting. It's always better it's still better to have a real meeting, but it's better than just a video call. So it's exactly between that two things. And there are other positive side effects. It's like it's also a big thing worldwide, saving the environment. So it also helps to avoid travels for meeting a person. And have a more immersive experience. And on the other side, from the business perspective, it also saves travel costs. When you see, for example, I have here Oculus Quest, and this thing costs, I don't know, $250, $300. And when I compare how much a flight maybe would be to Africa or to Asia or USA, or even a train trip, you have the money even back with one single travel. You save already money when you switch to this technology. And the Microsoft product stack here is a little complicated. We have currently from Microsoft, not everybody knows even that Microsoft bought, I think, 6 years ago around, they bought AltspaceVR. It's one of the oldest social experience for virtual reality. It's owned by Microsoft, and it's a good place for having events, parties, stage talk, town hall meetings. And but Microsoft thinks bigger, especially for the metaverse. We see even Facebook, they see it's so mighty that Facebook changed even the name from Facebook to Meta to show how important this thing is for the companies. And it's also a super important topic for Microsoft. Microsoft's not only strong with the HoloLens 2, they also say we want to be the platform. So they try with Microsoft Mesh to build the platform for the metaverse so that you can build on Azure your own experiences, bringing in things like, different Azure services to sync the avatars, the avatar framework, bringing different spatial services inside. And this is Microsoft Mesh. On top of this platform, it's a little bit like, I think the strategy will be like this. You will have something like Azure as a platform as a service. This is actually what refers to the term Microsoft Mesh. But there will be also software as a service, like Microsoft 365 is built on top of Azure services. So Microsoft also built their own business metaverse application, and they call it Microsoft Mesh for Teams. So this is an experience similar that we saw with AltspaceVR, where people can interact, have meetings, and this will be full integrated into Teams for this hybrid phase where not everybody has a virtual reality device. And so you can join with Teams into a virtual reality meeting, and you can just work seamless together. No matter if you're in virtual reality or if you just join with a Teams call. The public preview from Microsoft Mesh is announced officially for this summer. So we are really curious what will come there.
I'm going to ask about people liking the metaverse to a game, right? So why is it that the whole idea of game is being brought up when metaverse is being mentioned now? And how do people really get into the metaverse?
Yeah, Kazeem, many people say life is a game. Huh? And so
those are my questions.
There is actually many cool examples. So what I recently saw, I don't know, probably many of our audience here know the game Fortnite. So in this case, Fortnite invited musicians to perform their music, for example, in the Fortnite world, and in this case, opening a massive world to worldwide audience to join this concert in the metaverse. So one of the cases, as we know, that through gaming, people can enter these worlds and experience amazing and awesome concerts.
Yeah, so it's I think where it converges somehow is it's already for a longer time a trend to like something like gamification. Why should business content or why should content be boring? So you can make it somehow exciting. I always was a friend of that thing that I call business-tainment, and so it makes everything more playful, joyful.
How can business leverage the metaverse technology, and what are some of the real-world examples of the application of metaverse to a business?
Yeah, Zaid, maybe you share your screen and show it, or should I?
Just a second.
So while he's just preparing this, so it's the example we did with Deutsche Bank together. They had their Christmas party as a combination. That's also, you see a little bit between gaming and or game and playful experience. they had their Christmas party, combined with a talk about Metaverse and some things that Deutsche Bank did from the technology perspective in the previous year. So they had this event in AltspaceVR. And so I just want to share it so that you may get a visual impression how something like this looks like. And what is interesting is we recently get a lot of requests for events and things like this.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure on
actually,
my okay.
Exactly. And this was one of our highlights actually in December, getting Deutsche Bank into AltspaceVR, the metaverse platform, to make the bridge between immersive technology and an institute like Deutsche Bank. So and here we were able to get the people in there and celebrate Christmas. Let's have a look.
Hello. Welcome all to the Winter Wonderland for Deutsche Bank, hosted in AltspaceVR. My name is Asif Jinnah, and I'm the Global Technology Strategist for Microsoft. We are particularly proud to be here with the Deutsche Bank team, as this is one of the first banks entering the metaverse, especially for an event such as this, a Winter Wonderland of challenges and competitions and a new way of communicating and collaborating with those all around the world.
DB has now started to roll out Teams. It brings together the full collaboration experience into a single location. We see this evolution continuing, and AltspaceVR is a good example of how we see those technologies developing in the future.
Yeah, and everyone, welcome to the Metaverse. Really exciting. With virtual reality, you have the first communication technology that is able to touch your emotions and to trigger your instincts. It's a collaboration platform. You can build your own experience. It's not just a marketing idea or a hype or something. There's really science behind it, why it will be the next big thing for communication.
Seeing this in action for the first time has certainly sprung a lot of ideas up on how the bank can use this technology to our advantage in the future.
Exactly. So
That's
this is the Deutsche Bank story.
Well, that's really cool. So let me get to my last question, right? I know Facebook is still developing the metaverse, right? And but recently Microsoft just acquired Activision's Blizzard, right? And they are also thinking of coming into the metaverse space. So, Christian, what do you see as the future? What does the future hold for metaverse?
The future of the metaverse. Yeah, so what we, as I said it before, currently we see now the topic is really get quite attention in the businesses, and what we see right now is the people start to prepare with events, something like that we saw with the Christmas event or in tech events. So I just see a little bit what will come there. So we also do for the Teams Nation, for example, the after party, and there's some customers I think also is interesting. We have already here, great meetings, but that we have now here, like with a video call. But what people always say that's missing, that you can go to a bar or that you can have, go to the sites, build small groups, have a talk and something like this. So we see that people now start to do a first step or put a little toe into the metaverse to experiment about it and to shape their vision. So the next step that we will see is, and we see it already a little bit, the United Nations, for example, they started or supported a campaign where they bring world heritage, cultural heritage into AltspaceVR. And in AltspaceVR, they have an exhibition, they have a reception, they have somebody working at the lobby, can answer your questions. So they kind of build a United Nations presence in the metaverse. And I think that will be the next step when we talk about the business perspective. We better talk about, that people will start to build a virtual experience in that. So the social area for private people, I think it will be like, instead just having a Facebook meeting or call, they will also maybe start to meet with their families. But for business perspective, I think the next step is to build on the customer side a presence, customer engagement into the metaverse. And on the other side, they will also start to build their own internally company. That's what we also saw as Essential example. They will also start to make some meetings internally and some workshops. They will also start to do that in virtual reality. So we will see it on different sides. You will have customer-facing things where you engage the customers with your brand in the metaverse. On the other side, you will have more engagements for the internal employees, where they have their meetings in virtual reality, where they collaborate in virtual reality. So we will definitely see these two things. And in general, we will see the effect that everything that has a 2D user interface actually will get an additionally 3D user interface. It's a little bit like with the internet. At the beginning, we had only 2D websites. Everything was on the website. You could just watch us on the screen. Then Steve Jobs comes somewhere and, hey, I have here something, a smartphone. And it changed completely what happened. And then strategies come up like mobile first. And then we hear strategies like cloud first. Maybe the future will be metaverse first, mixed reality first. So we will see this movements towards 3D in every aspect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Christian. And I also, this reflects also in our activities that we have been again doing in terms of doing parties in the metaverse. So when reflecting again what we made in the Deutsche Bank activity, it was actually a successor to what we have made then in New Year's. So based on that, we hosted our first New Year's Eve party in the metaverse, as we know actually that nowadays the whole nightlife is more or less completely shut down, and through the metaverse, through platforms like AltspaceVR, and in the future hopefully also with Microsoft Mesh for Teams, we will be able to celebrate more and more and get together and have the feeling of presence, as also that we are not directly in real life together. So one of the cool souvenirs I took with me through our New Year's party was actually that we built in a virtual bar in the middle of Pandora, having a live DJ, and then the people were really immersed in the whole story, and then
it was raving and dancing. It was
exactly.
quite fun. Yeah.
And on the virtual bar, we had these virtual drinks, and the people were basically going to the virtual bar, grabbing some virtual cocktails, and cheering together, and they were really into this, really immersed. And that's why now we are ongoing to do many or joining tech conferences and doing some amazing community after parties, as nowadays there are no more real after parties.
And really regards to parties. So when I talk with people, I hear a lot, I don't want to see the sessions. I only come because of the networking. I come because of the parties. But many people, they don't want to sit the whole day. They want to see all the sessions. They're there because it's a chance for them to connect to people they didn't see. They talk to them. They have a drink together. And Corona completely killed all of that things. And as I said, it's not the same like the real thing, but it's better than nothing. And the party that Zaid mentioned, the New Year's Eve, it was also a personal thing for me, because my ex-wife, my daughter lives there, and they had to do a quarantine because they had in their family, they had a Corona case, and so she had a quarantine over the New Year's Eve, and you weren't able in Germany. It was prohibited to have a firework or something like this. So I decided in shorthand with Zaid together within a really short time frame, we say, what the hell? So what the heck? So we work with these technologies, and so we must also show the people that it makes that has an impact. And so we did the first celebration. So my daughter was inside actually of the New Year's Eve, and a lot of other people I've never seen before because we made it public. And I even found out that my daughter had a cocktail there, a virtual cocktail. I saw her sneaking around the bar, and I saw it later on the video. And what's also a very interesting experience was at the first part of the party, I really have no time. I was really just fixing things with fireworks, spawning new cocktails, talking to the DJ, caring about the music. I had exactly the stress.
Yeah, they find out where you were hiding all the packages.
Yeah. They find everything. And then my daughters just said, "Oh, I barely saw you. I saw you sometimes flying around." And yeah, I just was doing things. I did not expect that the effort is similar like with a real party. And really people start, oh, there are not enough drinks to spawn. And then I had to spawn new drinks. And I don't know, it was really quite fun. But later on, I never tried it. Even I had really a lot of experience. I really have some good headphone. And I really, at the end, when everything settled a little bit, I really took the headphones. I go in the middle of the room and I really start a little bit, dancing to the music. And it was really good. You really got kind of a little bit trance feeling, and you had also the feeling a little bit of people. It was an amazing experience also for myself. Kazeem, the next party we want to see you.
Yeah, man. Yes, we want to have you, Kazeem.
Okay. Thank you very much, Christian and Zaid, for joining me on today's episode of the Tech Talk. But maybe any last words now before we say bye-bye?
Maybe from the developer perspective, what many people maybe don't see here is what we see is you also need a lot of Azure backend development, to be honest. So what we find out recently when we build applications for the Metaverse, we need much more Azure development power there, because it's basically, it needs, for business cases, it needs kind of the same backend microservice and all the services. So there's also, there's some special Azure mixed reality service, but the reality is you need kind of the whole Azure platform to build really good Metaverse experiences. And and I just everybody, my advice is just, as I said, like the Deutsche Bank, take a step into the Metaverse, put a toe inside. Because I think, my slogan is, the future belongs to them who see the future before it gets obvious. And it's really a chance for people that will be really a big transformation. That you see it. Facebook dropped because also some announcement, because they invested so much in Oculus. You see they had a drop of 25%. You see the Metaverse will really play the cards new. So there will loser of the Metaverse and there will be large winner. It will be a very disruptive technology. So there's a lot of chance when you now consider how can your business, how can your applications, how can that profit from a technology like the Metaverse?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Christian. And yourself, Zaid, any last word from you before we say bye-bye?
Yeah, so actually my only advice is that let's always stay tuned and excited what is coming in terms of the Metaverse. And yeah, let's I think the first step that we do, guys, everyone who's excited about this topic, join our parties in the Metaverse, join our activities. So yeah, that we together ride this amazing wave that is coming very soon. Yeah. So yeah, and again, thank you very much, Kazeem, for having us. It was, again, as usual, amazing and incredible to be with you, discuss with you amazing stuff. And yeah, let's stay in touch and see if we can hack the Metaverse together.
Okay, so you've heard it from Christian and Zaid now on today's episode of the show. So here's where we're going to call it a close on today's episode. Thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should go right now and subscribe to the channel. So it's the Tech Talk on YouTube. So from myself, from Christian, and from Zaid now, it's a bye-bye, and we'll do this again another time.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.